South Park Welcome or Enter the Panderverse, or whatever it was called, definitely hit a couple nerves in Hollywood. In particular, it took direct aim at not just Disney, but Kathleen Kennedy, who is most well known for absolutely destroying the Indiana Jones franchise and making Star Wars a mockery. To have this level of destruction might make her the most powerful evil force in Hollywood. Just look at what they did to Indiana Jones with the Dial of Destiny, taking a beloved character, a geriatric character, forcing him on screen, trying to replace him with an unlikable woman, and losing $300 million at the box office. Remember when Disney came out and released all those Star Wars movies? What happened there? Oh, well, everyone hated them. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some of them were good. Most of them were bad. I still think there was a couple nuggets of gold in there, but mostly once they went to the self-insert strong independent women who don't need no man, it was over. We then saw Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm fire Gina Carano over a totally benign social media post. And now, well, everybody, apparently the floodgates are open. Kathleen Kennedy is getting crushed from all sides. Let's start with Gina Carano blasts Kathleen Kennedy after unflattering South Park portrayal. By the way, if you're enjoying my videos or if you've been watching me for a while and you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow down below. I know it can be a pain to create an account or whatever. I get it, but I would greatly appreciate it. It's definitely hard to even just reach the people that are following the channel. It's almost impossible to find new people. Almost 3 years after firing from The Mandalorian, Gina Carano is putting her former Lucasfilm boss on blast. Back in 2021, Carano had created a great deal of controversy with a problematic social media post. This ultimately led to a removal from her role as Cara Dune from the Star Wars series The Mandalorian, which I stopped watching immediately after that. Well, recently, Paramount Plus debuted an all-new South Park special dubbed South Park Joining the Panderverse, which took aim at Disney and Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy for making new films and TV shows much more diverse in their casting. Carano subsequently took to X, formerly Twitter, to post a rant about a reaction to Kennedy's portrayal in South Park. She wrote, and I'll just go to the actual tweet, right? This is the part where Kathleen Kennedy demands any YouTubers get censored off of YouTube for sharing this and laughing at this hilarious episode. She'll have YouTube disable the thumbs down option because of the ratio she'll receive. Then she'll have her publicist ghouls make sure Variety and Hollywood Reporter run hit pieces about South Park creators and their families, smearing their names, though every useful idiot she has under her thumb who would sell their soul to work for Lucasfilm. She'll activate her online mob to repeat that the South Park creators are racist, bigot, transphobes, and demand South Park creators publicly apologize by only using words she approves of. And finally, she'll demand they subject themselves to a re-education course of 45 people in the LGBTQ community Zoom call to sit there and listen of how badly they got their feelings hurt all over a little boop of South Park episode. I mean, absolutely savage reply. This is, an obvious reference, a direct reference to how Disney and Lucasfilm treated her. They literally made her get on a Zoom call with a bunch of weirdos, woke weirdos, to scream at her. This is a woman's fighting champion, okay? A Hollywood actress, a accomplished human being, one of the nicest people I've ever actually met. And they wanted her to sit on a Zoom call with 40 blue-haired people to yell at her. A literal re-education camp. They wanted to craft her response and do all this kind of stuff. She writes, but maybe the jig is up. 44,000 likes. Gina Carano remains absolutely beloved in the nerd community. I think, I could tell you right now, with almost certainty, that I would still be watching The Mandalorian if Gina was on it. She then followed up when somebody decided to, so Around the Galaxy says, in case you're wondering, Gina Carano has lost her mind, and then she absolutely crushes this person with a reply saying, do you always call a woman crazy just because she has a more first-hand experience than you and says something you don't like or understand? Bit misogynistic, don't you think? Curious if your overlords pay you, or do y'all just go ahead and shove your whole head straight up their rears for free? I'm guessing for free. Might want to come out for some fresh air. For some added context, not just you, but for people who are reading, one of the things your overlords asked me to do was to unfollow certain accounts because they said bad things about Kathleen Kennedy. That is an absolute bombshell. I'm not sure anybody was saying that publicly. I don't know if this was, if this was public knowledge or if I had seen it and forgotten, but I feel like this is the first time we're hearing that. Again, Disney told her to unfollow accounts, almost certainly Geeks and Gamers, perhaps my account and others, who she does follow for roasting Kathleen Kennedy. Quote, she continues, sorry. If I were the head of one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world, I would know that haters come with the territory and that actually maybe the haters are expressing their thoughts, quote unquote haters, because they actually care. And caring is a good thing as long as they care. Well, hey, we saw something to work with. Maybe we can win their hearts back eventually. And maybe they do have some good things to add to the conversation, which they do and did. And at the very least, they are still buying the product. Look at Mandalorian Season 1. Boom, the healing had begun. She's 100% right. Season 1 of The Mandalorian came out, and it was universally liked by Star Wars fans. And quite frankly, they had lost most of the Star Wars community. There were a few people, a few diehards who were still like, I have to hate it because it's Star Wars and that's my whole brand online. I get that. But I think it's arguable. I mean, at least we could agree that The Mandalorian was, the overwhelmingly positively received by the Star Wars community. It was referred to at the time, I remember, by a lot of people who was like, this is what we want. This is how you do it. This is, all this kind of stuff. Then they got woke. Pedro Pascal did Pedro Pascal stuff. He made the same kind of post that Gina Carano did, but he didn't get fired. She did. So everyone abandoned them. If you are a proper good leader and you learn how to embrace and communicate, not dictate and silence and demand your actors and directors unfollow and shame more than half of your fan base and the people who have stuck with the franchise for decades. Side note, don't say the Force is female, only and then only allow men to express their political views online. She's referring to Pedro Pascal there, I'm sure. In fact, just drop the ridiculous phrase completely. One of the problems your overlords are having now is that they made a lot of people completely stop caring about one of the most beloved franchises in history, all by bullying, pushing aggressive agendas, and trying to silence the people criticizing them. Gina totally understands it. She goes on, how are they able to tell stories that they don't understand when the ones they identify with are the Empire? They are literally trying to quash the little guys, the rebellion. No wonder the storytelling is struggling. They have fired and dehumanized people like me who did absolutely nothing wrong, all to virtue signal to people like you. Yes, men. But yes, the yes men, sorry. But yes men, unfortunately for you and them, do not drive culture. Maybe they were banking on the kids picking up the slack, but for one of the best things about the franchise is passing it from generation to generation to share. That competition is too high to throw something as valuable as that. Why would one generation pass it on when you've disrespected and thrown them away? Your overlords try to hide behind the two opposing fan bases fighting each other instead of taking responsibility. So they encourage the hate, all while virtue signaling that they're standing up for the minorities, but instead using them as a shield and weapon. Funny enough, that's just how our government works. 100% true. They think people will forget, and yes, they will, but for this moment, they've heard the people's voices and it shook them. They're choosing to stick with their weak leadership who couldn't handle YouTubers saying mean things online when all it would have taken was a true leader to step in, take the reins, and take some responsibility. Stop discriminating, apologize about the things that have been done wrong, and step completely out of politics. Be truly inclusive, and they'd be back in business. Until then, they're stuck with you, the yes men, and their plummeting stock. I'm not saying I'm right on all fronts, but I am open-hearted and refuse to discriminate based off powerful people telling me how to think and act. If there was something I needed to apologize for, I would have in a heartbeat, but I didn't do or say anything wrong. People come up to me daily to shake my hand and thank me for taking a stand, even people who think differently. One thing is true. Good leadership makes for a better world, leading to healthier, happier people and better opportunity. Look around. we are watching the devastating effects of what bad leadership can do around the world. Absolutely savage. And then Drunk 3PO, I'll give you a shout out here. Pete attacks anyone and everyone who doesn't agree with him. The Star Wars YouTubers whom he thinks are his friends laugh at him behind his back. This is the guy who posted it. It's pathetic. He does this to try to gain traction for a failed podcast. He also has a small pee-pee, and he's proud about it. I mean, I think that, again, all of this, you see Gina Carano weighs in on South Park joining the Panderverse, reveals Disney asked her to unfollow certain accounts because they said bad things about Kathleen Kennedy. This one episode, Enter the Panderverse, is revealing more truths about the disastrous leadership at Disney, and in particular, Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm, than we ever knew before. This article now confirms what I thought was true, that this was the first time it was revealed. Like, the thing about Gina is that she is truly a strong, independent woman who don't need no man. She was also financially set before she got into acting. Before really any of this culture war stuff started. She had some nice roles in movies like Deadpool and stuff like that, but she made money in fighting. She doesn't need to enter the Panderverse. She's this is the women. Gina Carano's the type of woman that Disney should be propping up instead of, putting into a struggle session and firing. And I can't imagine a bigger backfire. I mean, I know for a fact I stopped watching The Mandalorian because of it. And I guarantee you, I'm not the only one. So, Gina may be blacklisted from Hollywood, but I don't really think she cares. She made lifelong fans by standing up for what she believes. And I definitely ride with Gina anytime, anywhere. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe down below or follow. And we'll talk to you again real soon.